Michigan Out of Doors Online is brought to you in part by...
For over 30 years, Vanguard Outdoors has made the gear that turns a regular hunt into another fine day of field. We know that a good shooting stick or a nice pair of binoculars can make or break your day. Our design teams include serious hunters who work hard to bring you the best sporting optics, shooting sticks, tripods, bags, and more. We are Vanguard Outdoors.
Michigan Folding Doors and Sunrooms. Bring the outdoors in with a sunroom or patio enclosure, folding glass doors, and much more. For 30 years, they've designed, installed, and maintained dream living spaces across Michigan. Unfold the possibilities with Michigan Folding Doors. Hello everybody, Happy New Year and welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. I'm Jenny Sialik and we've got a great show headed your way this week. Ice fishing is finally kicking off all across the state and we're going to kick things off on this week's show with a first ice story. Jordan will take us over to the west side of the Lower Peninsula for some crappie fishing action that you won't want to miss. And Jimmy's got another ice fishing adventure in store for us this week.
Well, that's right, Jenny. We do have one more ice fishing story on this week's show. And if you've never fished Burt or Mullet Lake through the ice, well, you are missing out. They are some big lakes and they are a ton of fun. You're going to get to see an adventure from there. And we have a brand new bragging board as well. So make sure you stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger and it's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors.
What a beautiful day in the woods.
Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream, it's a love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by
Country Smokehouse, a sportsman's destination since 1988, featuring varieties of homemade sausage, jerky, brats, and gourmet entrees. Holiday gift boxes can be assembled in-store or online. Details at countrysmokehouse.com.
By Angler Quest Pontoons, offering fishing pontoons designed by anglers for anglers. Angler Quest pontoons are built with a multifunctional layout to support a variety of fishing adventures. Learn more at anglerquestpontoons.com.
Change my ways. They told me I could leave soon if I changed my ways. It's been 3 dark days. Whoa!
Yeah, so we're here in western Michigan today on first ice, hoping to chase down some crappies. Came out here the other day and had a pretty good night, so thought we'd come and replicate that a little bit. Today we're going to be fishing with a lot of different baits, as far as minnows, plastics, whatever they want. Sometimes they like spoons, so we're going to try some different techniques and see what they like. But mostly run tungsten and plastics, small profile, and just try different colors and see what they like. What we're hoping for tonight is that they come in suspended. They usually start down low towards evening, and then they kind of work their way up in the water column, and we're fishing about 20 foot of water, so throughout the night they'll kind of raise in the water column, and we'll get them up to like 5 foot under the ice, over 20 foot of water. So we're gonna go pop some holes and see if we can mark some to start off and see what happens.
Ooh, that's a
Decent
better one.
Fish. That's a better one.
Boy, he hammered it too. It is all the way down his stomach. Yeah, there's a start. Nice 9-10 incher.
We're set up kind of early right now, just kind of drill our holes and get set so we don't spook the fish that they come in later. But we're in this basin
about 20 foot of water. And I don't know where the crappies are before this, but they usually flood the basin to feed after dark. I think they hang on the edges of the weeds and try to feed on little insects and minnows in the weeds. And then they come out in the basin here because the minnows and stuff can't see, so they can feed on them in open water and kind of school up. So the fish will kind of move around in a circle, so you're just trying to be in that feeding pattern of when they come through. But we're usually constantly marking fish in here, so we'll constantly get some small ones, but every now and then the bigger ones will group together and kind of go around. So you might see a batch of bigger ones come through, you know, every hour, a couple hours, and get some pretty good ones out here. The pressure out here is a little high sometimes, but not as bad as it used to be. So first ice is definitely the best time to get on the lake, just because it's the best fishing, of course. And kind of weird mid-January first ice in western Michigan, so feels good to be on it. We are.
There we go. Feels like a decent fish.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a good one.
The fishing setup we were using today was pretty basic. A small jig tipped with either a minnow or a small plastic lure seemed to be working just fine. However, there was a little bit more thought into the rod selection, so I had Eric explain what he likes to use, starting with the jig rod.
That's a graphite blank. Doesn't have quite as much flex or sensitivity as the panty stopper. That's what I'm using for my dead stick, but each person has their own preference of what they like to use. So I like to feel the bite because I like to watch my graph a lot. I don't like to look at my rod tip, so I like to just chase it away from the fish and then wait to feel the little tunk. So that's why I like to use that for the jig rod. This is my dead stick rod that I'm using over here, just with a minnow on it. And I'll kind of show you the action on this. So this has a lot lighter, more sensitive tip here. This is a fiberglass blank and has so the backbone starts about right here, so the fish will take it and not feel it, and then you can go pick the rod up and just load up on them and hook them. But this is a fiberglass blank, so you can't really feel the bite as good as the graphite, but you can see it, so that's why it makes a great dead stick rod. Oh yeah, that's a better fish for sure. He's in my dead stick.
Yes, he is.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's what we're looking for.
Much better.
About 10 and a half, 11 or so. Got that on a crappie candy jig, 3 mil, and a minnow. I was using plastics for a while, and now they seem to be liking live bait. But Dallas is still getting them on plastics too, so I might have to change back here.
The bite was a little bit slow, but I think we were all just happy to be on the ice in what has been an almost non-existent winter here in the southern half of the state.
Size we like to keep to eat.
Crazy year to start out with. We did have some decent ice. Early December, I was on, 5-6 inches on the same water that I had a boat on about 6 days ago. I was actually trolling pierheads out of Muskegon Harbor, trolling for some brown trout. What was that? Yeah, about 6 days ago, and now we're on 4 inches of ice. Crazy year here in Michigan, but just getting out as much as we can and enjoying what we got.
I took a trip to the UP to kind of chase first ice, and we got on some brook trout and some crappies, and tried some walleye on little bait and knock, but conditions out there weren't the greatest, so I ended up coming home early and doing the same kind of thing, kind of fishing out of the boat, waiting for this cold front to come through. And just locking up now, and our home lake, Muskegon Lake, is locked up, so hoping to fish that this weekend for some giant walleye and big perch. Maybe set some tip-ups for pike, and it's going to warm up next week, so hopefully that doesn't put a damper on the ice too much. So that was like a couple feet down.
Yeah, it was. This was probably only 6 foot down and 20 foot of water. Starting to pick up, a little more active.
Let this little guy go. Get after something a little bigger.
The bite was starting to pick up, especially for the third angler in our group who was fishing about 30 yards away. So I decided to make a move and jump in with him to see how things were going.
Felt a lot bigger than that, jeez.
Well, we're fishing about 20 foot. They've been moving up to 10 foot deep, and I'm just dropping down on them with a minnow and any type of glow, small jig. And yeah, I mean, it's been one after another since probably about 7 o'clock. I think it's going on 8 right now. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Danny was doing basically the same thing as the other guys, but had a lot more fish on the ice. So I asked him what the secret was.
Well, honestly, could be the light. Other than just darn luck, you know. I will say I maybe hook a little different than those guys do. I tend to go behind the dorsal here. To me, when they're really active, you know, they're going to mouth it all anyway, so I'm trying to get as much bait into their mouth as possible. I prefer ice fishing over regular. I guess I feel like with ice I can go wherever I want. And yeah, I mean, when they're biting, it's unreal. It's a lot more fun.
It's been a tough year for it though.
Yeah, it has. Last year we had a really good year. And I'm pushing my limits this year with the ice. This one feels decent too, and that one just got hit. Twofer. But I think they're coming in and they're looking for, you know, they're a predator, so they're schooled up and looking for something to eat. And we're giving it to them plenty as much as we're getting them back on the ice.
Yeah, so it's a little bit slower than the other night, but could be a pressure change, or it's a little bit windy out, a little bit warmer out than it was night before. But we kind of moved spots a little bit and found a few more fish. These fish are more active, but there's less of them. So I'd rather have active fish than more fish that don't want to bite. But yeah, we'll kind of see how the night goes. Probably fish a little bit longer, but we've got quite a few, not quite the size we got the other night. Got a couple nice ones, but that's just how it is sometimes. And
picking away at
yeah,
them.
That's all you can hope for. But yeah, had a great time, and
Good to be on ice.
Yes, it is.
Period.
Yeah. Yep.
Unfortunately, ice conditions have only gotten worse here in southern Michigan, so if you're still trying to make it out, make sure to use extra caution. Special thanks to Eric and the guys for letting me tag along on a fun night of ice fishing here in West Michigan.
We get it. There are no shortcuts to getting it right. Bell's Two-Hearted IPA.
Well, if you are looking for a new fishing destination this year, I would suggest Burt and Mullet Lake. They are a ton of fun. It is a great part of our state, and if you find the fish, you can really get into them.
Adam, how do you pick a spot on a lake this big?
Yeah, well, I mean, with walleye, you're looking for this time of year, probably a little deeper than what you normally would want, right about what you normally would think. Kind of that cold part of the winter where the fish are a little more dormant, moving on a little deeper. But we're looking for pinch points, so we chose around us, and then we're in that transition of the depth contour there. So we're hoping that these fish are cruising along this drop, moving up to that shallower water to feed it in the evening bite. And these are some custom spoons from Frank's Great Outdoors. They're JD Customs. So he sent me some to try on this trip, so we're going to give them a shot. And purple's usually good for walleye. And this is my old standby. Got a little rattle in there, buckshot spoon. An old timer showed me that probably 15 years ago, and I've caught so many walleye on that spoon. It's crazy.
On the dead stick.
On the dead stick. And it's the wrong species.
Yeah, well, that's a nice perch.
That's a nice perch, though.
Yeah. Well, we didn't get skunked.
Didn't get skunked. I think we're going to let this one go, though.
All right. What did he hit that on?
That was just on a blue shiner. That's a real small blue, or a real big perch minnow on a dead stick. So, but I hit him on the jig first and missed him.
Gotcha.
You didn't get to see that part. I'll admit it.
Well, what do we got here, young man?
Well, Jimmy just caught a walleye on my old go-to that we talked about a little earlier. Just a
if the
black
cameraman
buckshot.
can do it, anybody can do it. That's a nice one.
That's a nice walleye. Yeah. I'm going to let you know what it tastes like, Jimmy.
Well, thanks for letting me use your
Awesome.
rod there, young fella.
I think
Man,
we ought
you
to.
hit that, I was like, oh, that was the first real hit we've had.
That's a great fish. Beautiful Mullet Lake walleye.
I don't know if I've ever caught a walleye on Mullet Lake. I've seen them a few times before, but it's
Yeah,
a tough lake to fish.
It's definitely a learning curve for sure. I haven't quite spent enough time out here to get her dialed in, but we have a lot of good fishermen here with us this weekend. There's 15 of us fishing. We got about a 17-inch walleye right there.
Perfect.
16-inch walleye. Perfect eater.
That's what they look like.
All right, let's get another one.
Let's do it.
All right.
Well, the fishing was a little slower than we had hoped, but it was fun to get out on the water. Adam and his buddies rent a place right on the lake every year, and what a great fish camp. Fishing tonight was just a bonus, as my main plan was to fish the morning with a couple of local guys. So the next morning, on a different part of this giant lake, I joined good friend Pat Mousseau and his buddy Gary Wilkie to see if we could find some perch. Now, you can walk out on Mullet Lake, but if you do, well, you're gonna walk a lot. So a sled, a four-wheeler, or Pat's gator, well, it makes life much easier.
Well, we're gonna see if we can get a couple perch on a perch rig with an above water tip up. These are pretty typical here in Indian River. Locals usually make them, and with the large wheel, you don't end up with the line memory, and they don't freeze up on the cold weather. So it's best of both worlds. And hopefully we'll get a few perch on it. We're gonna fish with a couple of minnows. You can see we're using buttons to spread the minnows apart, and hopefully here we can get one or two to bite.
How's the fishing been?
It's been sporadic. We got good days and bad days, and unfortunately this year we got great ice and more bad days than good days, but I'm pretty sure we'll get a few tonight, or this morning. Got a flag? Yep, got a flag. Yeah, let's see if we got him. I don't think we got some weight down there, but a little perch. All right,
Hey, that's a keeper.
it is a keeper. We're on the board.
Nice job.
First one of the trip. Hopefully, one of many. Probably 9 plus. There we go. Mullet Lake perch.
There we go.
Good, bugger. Well, hopefully we'll get one this time. Another swing and a miss. Oh, hey, behind you. Fish running. Oh. is about the same, maybe a little better.
What do we got?
Another perch. Oh yeah, nice.
Ooh.
A little nicer.
Got a little belly to him.
All right, that one's slightly bigger than the last one. All right.
Good work.
There we go.
You got a sandwich there.
Oh yeah. I'm thinking 2 pieces of bread and a frying pan. We're good to go. Came on the top hook too, so. All right, we missed one on that tip up and got one on this.
And you said one of your buddies has got 9?
He's got 9 so far, yep. Just not too far on the ice. He's catching them on wigglers. But he said to run a little smaller than this. So hopefully we'll get one of the really nice ones for the camera today.
Good. So with the couple of keepers here, I opted to head down the lake a few hundred yards to Mike Rakowski's shack to see his setup and continue to see how the locals fish this lake.
Well, what we're doing, we always have a rod that has some kind of attractor on it. It could be a jig and rapala that we bounce off the bottom. In this case, it's a little Castmaster spoon with a 4-inch drop and wigglers on it. And then 2 dead sticks with minnows. And the dead sticks are really effective, but the schools roam so much that it's good to have an attractor to bring them in. So.
Okay. And are you trying to fish drop-offs or flats or a little bit of both? Or?
You know, it's just kind of counterintuitive. You'd think you'd fish the breaks, but this is just one big flat here. And we think they're in here, you know, chasing minnows and feeding on bugs on the bottom. So.
Okay. And how often do you get out and fish?
Oh, as much as possible. I'm retired, so maybe 4 or 5 days a week.
Awesome. Nice. Well, thanks for letting us poke our head in here.
Hey, you bet.
We were about wrapped up for the day when, wouldn't you know, the biggest fish of the day made an appearance.
What happened here? Well, looks like we had one that didn't trip the tip up.
Yeah, we were just getting ready to pull lines, and this is... Never seen that happen on a tip. That is a
nice perch. Yeah, probably 11 inches.
Jeez. And he was just on there and never tripped it?
Never tripped it, yep. He was just sitting down there holding on to it.
Wow. Well,
there we go.
That's a dandy.
On a beautiful day in Michigan, right?
Burt and mullet can be hard to fish, but they draw a lot of anglers, and at times they can be a ton of fun. So whether it's fish camp or you and a buddy, hard water or soft, come up and try it here in Michigan's Out of Doors.
Thank you so much for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. Make sure you come back in the upcoming weeks. We've got a lot of great things on the schedule for you. We'll take you out for some nighttime predator hunting. We'll do a lot more ice fishing and everything in between. If you'd like to see where we are and kind of keep tabs on what we're up to on a daily basis, you can always do that online.
Well, that's right, Jenny. Online is probably the best way to keep track of us. Of course, our social media outlets, both Facebook and Instagram, are probably the quickest and best way to see what we're up to on a day-to-day basis, but we're also on our website and YouTube as well if you want to check us out. Make sure you are joining us over the next few weeks. Lots of stuff happening around the great state of Michigan, and if we don't see you in the woods or on the water, hopefully you'll see you right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by.
Do you dream of somewhere bigger than your backyard? You can get there with Greenstone. Whether you want to hunt, fish, hike, or just watch the sunset, we're ready to help you own your place in the great outdoors. To learn more, visit greenstonefcs.com.
By SCI. SCI helps protect, promote, and preserve wildlife through conservation practices which include hunting. SCI supports and funds conservation programs in the state of Michigan. Learn more how you can get involved at a chapter near you.
By Showspan, producing consumer shows including the Ultimate Fishing Show Detroit, January 9th through 12th at Novi's Suburban Collection Showplace. The show features fishing tackle, trips, boats, and seminars from the top pros. The Ultimate Fishing Show, Novi, January 9th through 12th. By Network Outdoors, connecting members to share experiences, help grow businesses, and to give back to the outdoor community. Learn more at one of 10 monthly meetups or online at networkoutdoors.com. Closed captioning brought to you by Double D Ranch Foundation, a nonprofit 501c3 foundation working to make hunting and fishing accessible for those with disabilities.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man, changing seasons.